IR smart. SMRT smart. Just take a look at this. Yep, Suicune was right there and I missed it. It even appeared on the screen and I didn't notice it. Though to be fair, I guess putting it there sort of makes it easy to miss, but still. Once again, I've been using to the punch, but it's not doing anything because I still can't catch it here. So, well, do tell me, what is he after? And, yeah, I want to be an honest trainer in front of Suicune. He's gone! It's the second time in this game that he wants to do something in front of Suicune, but Suicune's long gone. Okay, I was afraid he would say Suicune likes water like he did last time, and I don't know exactly where. Well, it sounds to me like you do know, because he went into a lot of detail to. Okay, he said the same thing, but yeah, he went into a lot of detail to describe the place where I could encounter Suicune next. So yeah, if he doesn't know, then he is completely hopeless. But I'm gonna give you exactly where that is. It's on Route 25. Remember where Misty chewed me out? Yeah, it's that place where I gotta go back there and catch Suicune. But first, I'm going to finish this little trainer-a-thon here. There's no sense in, not leveling up my team a bit more before doing that, even though Suicune's only level 40, which is rather low for that point in the game. Aww, I sort of expected that would happen when I saw Parasect come in, but okay, I'm just gonna have to wait until it wakes up. After all, it's not like Parasect can do a whole lot to me. I mean, it's just a freaking Parasect. It's good for Spore and nothing else. So yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, level 40 for a legendary. It's a bit low at this point in the game, especially since I got level 40 Raikou and Entei something like 50 parts ago. But still, once I'm done fighting all those trainers and possibly doing the Fuchsia gym as well, I'm gonna head over there and catch Suicune. So that's how I'm planning to do things for the next few videos. And by the way, speaking of the near future, it would be very much appreciated if you guys could vote for Ditto! No, that's not what I intended to say. It just so happened that I saw that his next Pokemon was a Ditto. So I instantly thought of that, but yeah, vote for Ditto if you haven't done so yet. But yeah, what I was going to ask you is to not flood my inbox with a certain overused, tired meme regarding a certain milestone that my channel is going to reach in the next few days. Because yeah, it would be very much appreciated because it hasn't been funny in quite a while, and I have better things to do with my time than to just read it over and over and over again. So, thank you for not wasting your time and mind and leaving me alone when it comes to that. By the way, speaking of important milestones, I know usually I don't do celebrations when reaching certain milestones. However, since I'm coming up fast on 10,000 subscribers, you know, it's a big, neat, round number, I thought of maybe doing something for when I do reach 10,000 subscribers. I don't know if it'll work out yet, so I don't want to make any promises, but if it works, I'm definitely going to do something special when the day comes, and I'm sort of hoping that it's not too far off, to be honest, but doesn't matter. It can take 3 months, it can take 3 years, I don't really care either way. But back to the game. A few videos ago, I fought a trainer. Remember the one with the level 65 Magikarp? Well, after doing some research, I saw that in Gold, Silver, Crystal, he used Pokemon whose English names end in King. He had a Nidoking, a Slowking, and a Sea King. But it was changed in Heart Gold and Soul Silver so that it would be Pokemon with Japanese names that end in King that would be used. Hence why he ended up with a Magikarp instead of a Sea King. Now I don't really know why it was a level 65 Magikarp of all things. I mean, it's just a Magikarp. It's not like it's that much more challenging than a level 29 one. But oh well, just a little bit of trivia in case you're interested. And now I've been thinking about something lately. I won't get into details as to how I got to thinking about that because it might take a while and you're probably not interested in those details anyway. But, you know how in Red, Blue, and Yellow, Blue turns out to be the champion at the end? Well, after thinking of it real long and hard, I thought that, you know, it's not very good writing when you think about it, because the fact is that throughout the entire game, you fought him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times before you fight the Elite Four. And no, by the way, I was actually counting in my head where and when you encountered him. But yeah, 7 times, and each time you fight him, you always end up winning. So he ends up kind of, you know, being built up as a joke, you know, that you pummel over and over. And then you progress through the Elite Four, and then it turns out that he's the champion. So basically, what I'm thinking is that maybe I'm alone in thinking that Blue it has been built up as a joke, but it certainly feels that way to me after all these years of playing these games, you know. And yeah, it just reeks of bad writing that a trainer that's been consistently depicted as weak would end up serving as the final boss. And usually, when you got a recurring boss fight that turns out to be the final boss, it's one of two things that happens. Either you get utterly trounced in all your meetings with that villain throughout the game. Oh, phone call from Baoba here. Let's see what he wants. It's probably to tell me that there are now more items available. There we go. So it was nothing special at all. But yeah, either you utterly get trounced and you only find the strength at the end of the game to beat that villain, or he's a wimp at the beginning of the game, but something in the plot causes him to become all-powerful. Case in point, for example, Kefka. And what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to take a step or two in Fuchsia City so that I can fly to it anytime whenever I feel like it. And after that, I'm going to head back to Route 15 because I still have a few more trainers to fight. But yeah, as far as final bosses in Pokemon go, Blue, as I said, it just reeks of bad writing, you know, when he's constantly being built up as a joke and then he turns out to be the final boss, and he actually can provide sort of a challenge that time around, though it certainly wasn't the case when I did my LP of Pokemon Red, but that's another story. Then you got other trainers like Lance and Steven that you fight alongside them at some points in the game, and they are depicted as ridiculously powerful trainers at that time. Well, mostly Lance, because Steven still felt like just another guy at that point, especially with his special sweeping Aggron of Doom. Cynthia? I think the less said about her, the better. It's just that, you know, it's not that she exactly shows weakness or anything at any point in the game, but, well, she can't do that because she spends the entire game not doing a damn thing. But, yeah, that too is bad writing, but for another reason entirely from what I was saying about Red before. And, Blue, not Red. But, yeah, and, as far as Getsis goes, I think it was, you know, one of the main things that are criticized about Black and White is how you never get to fight the 6 other sages. You only fight Getsis at the end of the game. But yeah, you only meet Getsis a few times throughout the game, and every time he comes off as, you know, well, he's not the de facto leader of Team Plasma, but he's still the mastermind and the ringleader and such, the one that actually execute their plans. And since you don't fight him before the end of the game, then it's sort of, it doesn't really contradict anything, the fact that he's got such strong Pokemon. I think most people watching me will be given nightmares about that Hydreigon. Personally, it wasn't a problem because I one-shot it with my Mienshao, but that's another story once again. And as for N, because you can't really talk about Getsis without talking about N, but the thing is that you fight N throughout the game, and as I've said before, every time you fight N, you fight him with Pokemon that seem to be freshly caught, because his Pokemon are in the level range of what they are in that particular area, and they've got their native movesets as well. No move relearner, no TMs, no whatever. They are really just a batch of wild Pokemon without any chance to heal for free in between. But then something happens and he gets Reshiram or Zekrom, depending on the version, and suddenly he becomes super powerful. And that sort of makes sense. That's what I was talking about earlier on, about a plot-induced event that suddenly makes the villain a much more formidable opponent. Something that you never really felt with Blue. Of course, his Pokemon kept evolving and gaining levels, but as far as I'm concerned, at least, it never looks like he's making much headway towards his goal of being the best Pokemon trainer ever. So, yeah, I don't know, as I said, if I'm the only one who thinks that way, or if that's an impression that you get as well, but for me, Blue is just not that credible of a champion, because he's never been billed as a legit threat throughout the game. Of course, I guess it depends on your skills at actually playing the game, but for Pokemon Veteran, Blue should be no more difficult than your average trainer. Well, maybe a little more difficult because he's got more Pokemon, better levels, better moves in general, but not enough to say, holy crap, this particular battle was really, really hard. In fact, I don't really think it ever happened for any rival battle beyond the early game. And they're tough in the early game, especially for Blue and Barry, by virtue of you not having much of a level advantage, if at all. And, well, I was about to talk about the whole fiasco of, Barry's Chimchar not having Ember, but I've already talked about this enough times, so I'm just gonna let that particular subject rest. And, wow, by the way, I'm getting a whole lot of phone numbers in the Silence Bridge area. When I got my first one back on Route 12, I told you guys that it was the first one that I got in Kanto, and since then I seem to get a lot of these. And I wonder, why is it that all the phone numbers I had so far in Kanto were in this particular area? I mean, it's not like I didn't fight any trainers in Kanto before. There were quite a few on routes 8 and 9, but none of them gave me their phone numbers. It's been all about those Silence Bridge trainers so far. And yeah, even though Silence Bridge is technically only Route 12, personally, I like to talk about, that whole stretch of land between Lavender and Fuchsia as the Silence Bridge area, because it's just one really long stretch of land with lots and lots of trainers. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's still one or two more trainers to fight, and I don't think I have enough time to beat one of them, so I'm gonna pass up on Sheer Cold first, because it's completely and utterly useless. I don't know why anyone would ever want to use one-hit KO moves. They're so inaccurate to begin with, but oh well. So I'm gonna call it quits for today, so next time I'm gonna finish this area, and then I'm gonna go back through it with my ferret, so that I can get all those little things that I need cut to get to.